Hello and welcome to Broomwood Farm. So here on my 37 acres I have a small startup flower farm and market farm garden, and I also keep rare breed livestock. But the main ethos and the main goal is to create a wildlife rich habitat. And this involves some regenerative farming and also a massive amount of rewilding. However, I am still running a business, and so over the coming year I want to tap into the wildlife tourism market and just show people the array of wildlife we have here and how it works alongside farming methods. So I'm walking along the edge of one of my unused fields, and it's basically not been touched for 3 years. It might not be used by humans, but it's been used by loads of wildlife. And this field and the pit immediately next to it is home to deer, and badgers, and foxes, and loads of different bird species, including a first, literally over the past few weeks, are some woodcock. And then we've had a huge bird of prey on the land, and we didn't know what it was, and my friend Robin, who's a photographer, managed to get a fleeting glimpse of it the other day. It was very far off, the sky was murky, so she didn't get a good shot, but she managed to at least get it on camera. And it is a marsh harrier, which is super exciting. I'm really excited about that. We're quite close to Minsmere, where they do have a breeding pair, and I'm wondering whether maybe it is a male, an offspring of that pair a few years ago. It turns up on the fields every few weeks, and it comes every day for a few days and then disappears. So it's very exciting that that's here. Now, like you might expect, nature in its nature is rather wary of humans, and so it's difficult for me, who doesn't have a really good camera, to get lots of shots of the wildlife here. So something that I'm really keen to do is to build a bird hide, which actually I can rent to people, so they can come and use it, get some amazing shots, help kind of survey what is on the farm, but also incorporate it into our business model just to make a little bit of cash, which then helps further the nature conservation even more. And the site of that hide is going to be here. So we have our main meadow here, which again is a rewilded meadow, but this is also a rewilded meadow. And so I've cut in, right from the market garden, I've cut in a path that goes all the way back up to the car parking area. And the main space for the bird hide is going to be up here. And the aim is to, you can see Jock here with some plastic. And my aim is I'm going to dig a very small, shallow pond to encourage animals, especially in the summer when there's no water around, to come and drink. And then we're going to have the hide around here. Now, I had intended to start digging the pond today. However, we have had -9 overnight. The ground is solid. I am going to get a spade and have a little go, because it might just be the surface layer. But we're gonna give it a go and see if I can start it. If not, there's a few other jobs I can also do. This year I also want to be a bit more purposeful about how I do surveys. So far, over the past 3 years, if I spot something, I note it down and I write it onto the biodiversity list, which I'll put in a link in the description below, so you can see everything that we've currently ID'd. But now it's the winter, it would be a good idea for me and a few friends to do a monthly survey, and we'll do it in exactly the same spot and on exactly the same walk, and we'll see how things fluctuate and change over time. If you're Patreon, I'm going to be putting all the survey results on to Patreon. So for the nerds of you who want to see stats and figures and numbers, that will all be on Patreon for you to see. And I think we might also do several different styles of surveys. So we might do like a walking survey where we just walk a particular route. I might also do like a transect survey where you just, you throw down transect on a certain area, and this will be particularly helpful, I think, for bugs to really get into the ground and the grass and the thatch and the weeds and find what bugs there are down there. I also want to do a night survey because back in the day, my dad said there were a very small colony of glowworms here. So I want to go on a search, and often at night as well you hear different bird songs. So obviously you hear tawnies and you hear barn owls, but I know there used to be a nightingale in the pit. So again, I want to do a night survey, and all these surveys over the coming year should hopefully give us even more of an idea of the animal wildlife that is on the farm, and help me kind of mould how I change this rewilding journey to suit them. Now this pond, or I should say more like a scrape, is not going to be very big because the plastic is just offcuts that I've got. In the future I may well expand it, make it bigger if it works, but for now we're working with what we've got on the farm, because until we actually start making some money we can't buy expensive pond membrane. So as you can see, it's not very big, so it's not really going to be a pond that's deep enough for things to overwinter in. So amphibians and things aren't going to overwinter in there. It probably will freeze solid in the winter. But in the winter time there's loads of moisture all over the farm, so actually animals are less likely to come and use it anyway. So mainly this is just going to be a watering hole for the spring, summer and autumn months, and a place that we can kind of draw animals into, so that people that actually pay to come and use the hide don't spend 7 hours sitting there and seeing nothing at all. So I'm going to put the spade into the ground and see if we could actually do anything. Who needs the gym when you've got a farm? Whew. At least it keeps you fit. Burns off a few of those Christmas calories. Well, it doesn't look very big, and it certainly isn't very deep, but as I say, the liner I've got is not vast, so I'm just going to pull the liner across and just see how much more digging I've got to do. This side I do have to dig out, because what I want is the hide will be on this side, so I want the deep edge to be on this side. This side I want to just have a shallow end where birds are going to come down. There'll be some rocks, they can bath and stuff, so I do need to still dig off this edge, but I just want to put this plastic over and see where we're at. Actually, we're not that far off. You can see that I can't go any wider, and I can't go much deeper because it's shorter, it's thinner this way than it is that way. By the time you get down here, there's actually not a lot left over. I do need to dig out some of this end just to make it deeper, and then as I say, I need to just trim off this side. Well, we're done with the main thing. So here it is. I told you it wasn't going to be massive or very deep. I have no water on site, so I need to rely on the weather to fill this up, hence why I wanted to get it done early in the year. So hopefully we have lots more rain and it fills it up. It's not perfect by any means, but I will trim off all of this another day. And once the water's in as well, the water weight will pull the liner down and straighten it out more so I can sort the sides out. But for a couple of hours work, for a project that I've been meaning to do for ages, I'm relatively happy. Also, look at this. This is the ice. This is the ice that was on the sheet last night. So it was very cold, but good that the ground was thawed enough for me to dig into it. Now, something else I really want to do is to get up here. This is one of our owl boxes, clean it out and get a camera on it. Now, for the past few years, there has been no owl in there, and that's because they start nesting later than another little bird that has been using that, and that is the jackdaw. Now, I personally think jackdaws are rather magnificent and beautiful birds. I'm quite happy for jackdaws to be in that nest, but I would love to get them on camera. So the plan is to set up a rewilding camera in that nest box. I stupidly have forgotten my password for the vSIM app to activate the SIM card, but I'm still going to climb up, have a look, clear it out, and then the aim is to get that camera in there, and then I can watch it and I can film bits of it and I can put them onto YouTube. And if you're a patron as well, I will give you many more updates of what's going on in that box. So let's go take a look. Well, we're up. I didn't fall out yet. There's some brush and blackthorn at the bottom. I need to cut back a little bit just to make access a bit easier. But it's rather lovely up here, isn't it? And then this is looking across to the woodland, and our bird hide is just down. Oh, bird hide will just be down there. And look at the thickness of these lovely big fat oak boughs with all this lichen and moss. And then here is our box. So we got it from the Barn Owl Centre. It's box 5058. This is typical jackdaw territory because they've brought loads of sticks in. So let's have a little look inside. Now, I like this box in particular because it's made from recycled stuff, plastic, I think. And it just got these little ties that come out. Let's not lose them. And then we'll lift this lid. And here we go. You can see, look how much they've filled this box with stuff. And then this is where the chicks would have been. But this is absolutely filled. So what I want to do is take all of this stuff out. So we've got an empty box. So when the spring does arrive, we can actually see them bringing the twigs in and making a nest. And you can see that with the amount of this debris, even if an owl did come in here at some point when it was being used by the rooks but they weren't here, it wouldn't hang around. So right, the box is empty. There we go. This is actually some of the original sawdust I put in about 5 years ago. Now I'm thinking of putting the camera in this corner so it gets this. Now it is a solar camera and I don't want to be coming up here constantly to, well, I can't, to change batteries. So if it doesn't work on the inside, I'll just put it on the outside facing the entrance, so at least we can see who's going in and out. Either way, it should be really fun and a nice fun thing to do in 2023. Hello, Jockly. You okay? I'm coming down now. You looking after me? Coming down now. Gonna try and get down without falling. All right. Well, I'm down. This is I think I just need to take out this one simmer blackthorn because it's kind of coming across and it makes getting up there difficult. Not that I'm going to be up and down all season, because of course, once there's birds in there, I ain't going up at all because you can't disturb birds' nests. But just while I'm sorting the camera out ahead of any inhabitants, make it a little bit easier. But I'm happy with that. It's nice and clean. I'll try and get this camera sorted out. And then, as I say, it'll be a fun little thing to do this year and see what goes in and how many eggs they lay, what hatches, how many fledge, see them feeding them. Should be really fun. Well, I decided to put the camera on the inside of the box, so we'll see how it goes. The camera's quite bulky, so you don't get a vast amount of sight. Corvids are also super curious, and so I'm wondering whether the lights on the camera, like the red lights that show up when there's movement, might spark and pique their interest, and they might move around a bit, or they might peck at it. And also you saw how much they filled that box with sticks, so it might obliterate the camera. We'll try it like this, and then if it's not working, I'll put it on the outside.